What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Coach Rod back. I'm still on niche versus designer, and in this video, I'm gonna focus on perceived value. And the reason I'm focusing on perceived value with this one is because I think this is probably the key component to why some of us, and we all play victim to this, including myself, why some of us put so much value into some things, even when it proves to us otherwise. And what I mean by that is that, we all may look at products, we all may say, PS3 is better than Xbox 360. Why? Because, PS3 has this bigger processor. It costs twice, three times the price when they both first came out, so it has to be better. But for me, when I play both of them, when I visually see the games and I'm like, man, I don't see how PS3 is better than Xbox. Xbox has way more games at one point. I'm talking about when they first came out, has more games. Graphics is just as good. When I first played Gears of War, that's the best graphics of any game I've ever seen on PlayStation or on Xbox. But regardless of my opinion, I know a lot of people, their perceived value of PS3 was that, look, man, if it costs, $600 and Xbox is only 300 or 250, I can't remember the prices back then, but it has to be better. It came out later. It has all this technology, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But the end result to me was video games. Who has the most content, and visually, who has the better graphics, And that's how I made my determination. But I know a lot of people, just based on the price in the company, they had a higher perceived value for Sony than I did. And I see this happen every day in the fragrance community with, niche versus designer. Like, I'll give you guys a quick story, quick example. Like my best friend, right? Back in the day, he had a Honda Civic. He was having his first kid, had his first daughter, and his family was about to expand, obviously. So he's like, I need to get a bigger vehicle because this little Civic ain't gonna be enough for strollers and all this stuff, carrying bags and diaper bags and what have you. So he was like, I'm gonna get me a Ford Explorer. And this is back in the day. At that time, everybody was driving expeditions and stuff like that. So he was like, I don't want a big expedition, but I need more room, so I'm gonna go with the Explorer. So he was adamant about it at first. He wanted something. He didn't want a minivan, so he wanted something big. He wanted something that looked cool. So I think I got Explorer Sport. But at the same time, he's like, man, I don't want no Ford, man. Ford's, found on road dead. Ford's American cars. They're garbage. They break down all the time. All this, this negative, views and opinions of the Ford. And anyway, he ended up purchasing the Ford, had it for 3 or 4 years, never had any issues with it. Not one problem besides your normal maintenance, wear and tear, your brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, stuff like that. That's all he had with that. So he had a year left on it. Instead of him paying it off, people like, look, I'm going to trade this in, and I'm gonna give me a BMW. So this was years later. His daughter was older. His wife had a car. She had a 4-door, like a Honda Accord or something. So he was like, well, we don't really need a big vehicle, being that we got 2 vehicles now. So she had her car. He got, so he traded in his Ford, which gave him no issues, for a BMW because BMWs, luxury, British Motors, top of the line. It's the perceived value he put on it, the image. So he bought the BMW. He bought like a 3 Series at the time. He bought it used. And as soon as he got it, he got all kind of problems. It was breaking down all the time. The axles was messed up. The transmission went out. He had to put a ton of money into it. So I was like, damn, man, your BMW is breaking down a lot, man. What's up with your BMW, man? I thought, BMWs were these, luxury vehicles. They don't never break down. And he's like, nah, man, it's not the BMW. It was used. It was the previous owner. He didn't take care of it. That's what it was. But I'm like, okay, maybe so. How many problems did your Ford give you? I never had no problems with it, man. I just, didn't want it no more. But I'm like, all right. But you were telling me that Fords have so many problems. So to you, it was proven your Ford never broke down. Your Ford wasn't found on the road dead. But your BMW that's always breaking down, it's not the BMW, it's the owner. You know what I'm saying? So the reality is already telling him that Fords ain't as bad as you think and BMWs aren't as great as you think. But his perceived value on both products, regardless, he couldn't really see it. You know what I'm saying? So he trades in his 3 Series BMW. He buys at this was '06 at this time now. He traded in for a '06 5 Series BMW. So goes from the 3 Series to the 5 Series. So now he has a 5 Series BMW. He still has it. You know what I mean? He's pretty much about to pay that one off. Still has it. And within the first year or the second year, he blew a head gasket. I don't know for sure it was a head gasket, but it was something he blew in the engine, like something that a 2-year-old car, BMW, a problem you shouldn't have. So now I'm back in his ear again. I'm like, damn man, your new BMW broke down, and he's been having problems with it ever since. Not nothing major like that first issue, but now he's having some electrical problem or something. And with his new vehicle, in the first couple of years, he had a warranty. So every time it would break down, he was tripping because, you know, they would take his car back, give him a nice car rental, or give him a 7 Series, something to drive around. So the customer service kind of, you know, obviously won him over. And even though his car was still breaking down, he didn't look at it the same. He was like, well, you know, I don't got to pay for it, whatever, whatever. But I'm like, dude, regardless, if you don't have to pay for it, your first BMW was breaking down, your second BMW was breaking down. The cars that you perceive to never have problems, and the car you perceive to be a bucket never gave you issues. You don't see no trend here. He's like, nah man, BMW is cool, BMW is cute. To this day, I think now he's finally shifting to where he's like, man, I ain't gonna never buy a BMW again. I having too many problems. But for like 6 years there, you couldn't tell him that BMWs weren't as great as he is. Now I'm not trying to bash BMWs. I'm just showing you that for his reality, he had two and he had problems with both. He had a Ford that he haven't had no problem with, and he probably to this day still wouldn't buy a Ford, even though he had one that did him well, and he had two BMWs that just broke down all the time. And I think he's not opposed to buying another one. Right now, he's gonna say he probably wouldn't, but he'll probably buy that new 6 Series because that's his new car he loves. You know what I mean? The 650 BMW, which is tight. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. That is off the hook. You know, but anyway, his perceived value on BMW is so high that even when reality shows him that it's not what you think, he still believes he puts it on a pedestal. Back to fragrances. A lot of us do it. I see a lot of reviewers in the community do it. Being that I've always wore designers, I'm still getting into niche. There's a lot of niche fragrances that I love. There's a lot of designer fragrances that I love. But being my background as designer, I'm never gonna be like, and you may watch the video next year and I may change. But right now, today, 2012, September, what is it? 16, 17. I'm never gonna get to a point where I'm like, niche is just the greatest thing ever and the designer is garbage. That's how I feel today. But I don't think I never change because I see great in both. I see garbage in both. You feel me? So I just don't understand how some people, you know, put niche on this pedestal. Even when you smell a niche, or even when some of these niche are proven to you not to be that great, you still got it way up here. Like, I'm giving you another example. And Fragrance Bros, I'm not picking on you. I love you guys. I'm subscribed to you guys. I watch all your videos. I'm just using you because I can give the reviewers a real person to go back and look and stop talking about my friends all the time. So the Fragrance Bros, they recently released a video called The Shootout. It's Amawaz Reflection Man versus Lamar and Lamar Terrible, right? Now, in this video, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. For those of you who aren't, basically, he takes a blind test, he smells them out, and he guesses which one, you know, that they are. And a lot of people would tell you, oh, Reflection Man smells nothing like Lamar. Reflection Man is so great. It's on a whole different stratosphere. You know, Lamar is blah, blah, blah. I'm here to tell you, they smell the same. I don't give a damn. They smell just alike. Now, with that said, I don't mean identical. They don't smell exactly. They're two different companies making the fragrance. And I would imagine when Amawaz made Reflection Man, they weren't saying let's make a Lamar copy, and obviously Lamar couldn't have did that to you know, Reflection Man. But with that said, the composition that they came up with, Amawaz, it smells just like Lamar, period, point blank. So basically, in this shootout, he put Reflection Man, Lamar, and Lamar Terrible on the wrist, right? So he smells it. He's all, that's Reflection Man, that's Lamar Terrible. This is Reflection Man. Then the other bro's like, nah, that was Lamar. So he's like, damn. So he confuses Lamar with Reflection Man. So obviously right there, they smell alike. You know what I mean? But people will sit here on these reviews and tell you Reflection Man and Lamar smell nothing alike. Like, for instance, if I put Calvin Klein's Obsession on this wrist, and I put Reflection Man on this wrist, I guarantee you every time I'm gonna be like, that's Obsession, that's Reflection Man. Yep, that's Obsession, that's Reflection Man. Why? Because they smell nothing alike. They're not similar, they're not alike, they're not identical. They're two total different fragrances. So that's what I'm assuming. When a person say Reflection Man and Le Male is nothing alike, that's how it should be. If I put Reflection Man on this wrist and Le Male on this wrist, 10 out of 10, I should never get them confused because they're two totally different fragrances. But reality is that they're not. They're two totally different fragrances, but they smell just alike. And that's the reality. So, you know, me and him was going back and forth, and I was telling him, I said, hey, man, based on your review, I really know that Reflection Man is not worth the price tag. If it smells just like Le Male, why would I pay $300 for something I can get for like 50 bucks? You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, they're not the same. They're totally different. Le Male is generic and Reflection Man is great. So I'm like, okay, how is Le Male generic and Reflection Man great when in a blind test you confuse the generic Le Male for Reflection Man? That, to me, that just don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But going back to my whole point in perceived value, I think a lot of people, it's hard for us, and it's not to bash you guys, man. I hope you don't take this video and think I'm bashing. I'm just using this as an example because we all do it. It's like it's hard for us to like something that's so respected, like the Alma Watch House, and it's so expensive. It's 300 bucks. It's hard for us to be like, you know what? This $300 fragrances that I know they put, the art in and the quality and the pure oils in. It's hard for me to accept that this generic Le Male could smell similar, could smell just as good, could smell, the same. And the reality is, it's possible. You know what I mean? A guy told me when I was coaching football, when I first started, coach told me, an older coach, he said, look, don't ever confuse effort with results. And from that day, I live by that. I don't care what you put in your frame. I don't care how natural the oil is. I don't care whatever. The result is the smell. Like when I coach my kids, we could practice hard, we could run hard, but if on Saturday we didn't win, don't confuse your effort with results. The result on Saturday or Friday, whenever we play a game, is to win. So if the effort don't match the results, we didn't do something right that week in practice. We didn't work on the right things. We didn't put in what we needed to do to get that W. And it's the same with these fragrances. Of a niche house, you can put all the finest minerals, all the finest ingredients, oils, whatever you want. But if the end result is a scent that doesn't smell better than the designer, it don't matter. Don't confuse effort with results. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to leave you guys with. Don't confuse effort with results, and don't put, this perceived value. Don't put these, just put something on a higher level than it needs to be. And even when it's proven to you, even when you prove to yourself that it is not as good. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I'm gonna say, to give you another example. To me, the best car out there is a Lamborghini. I don't care. I mean, outside of a Bugatti. But if I had the money, my first vehicle is going to be a Lamborghini. I think Lamborghini is probably the best car, one of the best cars out there. Probably, beat most cars. One of you guys watching this video might say, man, a Ferrari is better than a Lamborghini. Or you might say, no, I know a Corvette, a ZR1, that could beat a Lambo. And I'm going to be like, man, a Corvette? Like, hell no, I ain't buying no Corvette over no Lamborghini because my perceived value. Even if you show me a Corvette, a ZR1 or something like that, that can beat a Lamborghini, I'm still going to choose a Lamborghini because it's a Lamborghini. Just because the prestige, the name, the company. And so like I said, even me, we all fall into those traps. But my point is, hey guys, make these companies earn whatever, value you putting on them. You know what I'm saying? Don't just say, hey, Creed is worth $300 because it's Creed. Because there's a gang of Creeds that ain't worth 300 bucks. You know what I'm saying? And I love Creed. There's a lot of good Creeds, but there's some Creeds that ain't worth 100 bucks. You know what I'm saying? But so just because it's Creed, I ain't gonna buy everything in Creed's house because it's Creed. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff that I wouldn't pay $50 for that Creed makes. So understand what the value is and get exactly what's proven to you to be worth whatever you paying for any product. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's just my opinion. Like I always say, I could be totally wrong. But hey, you guys tell me what your opinion is. If you fall into this trap, if you do it, or whatever the case may be. But anyway, guys, depending on what the ladies say, determines what I spray. Peace.